What's up everybody, this is Boywithafishtank, and today I'm bringing you the 6th episode of Aquarium Marathon Week. And today I want to talk a little bit about my favorite South American cichlid, which is the Geophagus right here. In specific, the Geophagus Altifrons, which is the one I have right here. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the basic care of Geophagus because you know, there are a lot of different species of Geophagus, but they pretty much have the same care. There are of course some few exceptions, but they are generally the same. They generally have the same care requirements. So Geophagus comes from South America, as I said earlier. They come as far south in America as Uruguay, however you pronounce that. I think it's Uruguay. And I can't remember the species that is around there. It's the Geophagus something, I can't remember the name of it. The one I have right here, the Geophagus Altifrons, is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Geophagus species out there. They even get bigger than the ones I have right here, which are like, let's get him out here so we can compare. This is my biggest male. He's about the size of my hand, so he's pretty huge. And you know, these guys come from the Amazon River in Brazil, but they come from many others as well. There's actually also a species of Geophagus that is from Panama, which is rather unique. Anyway, you can see my Geophagus are fighting a lot. And that is because Geophagus are first of all a mildly aggressive cichlid. So this means that if you have two males, expect them to be fighting. Because, you know, if you have two males, they will have this sort of territory like any other cichlid will have. And if that cichlid goes into their territory, if it's a male, he will the one that has that territory will either chase it away, or then they will begin fighting because the other Geophagus wants to challenge that male in that territory. And that's what you can see here with mine. This is my biggest one. You can see it with the trails he has on his tail. He has a lot more bright colors, and he has the long trails on his on these fins down here, which I can't remember the name of right now. And you can see here clearly has a lot of red and blue and a little bit of green on him, some yellow tint on his head. Really beautiful cichlid. What I would say though is that you know, with the exception of other Geophagus males, they actually go really well with other cichlids. You can see I got a firemouth right here, a small firemouth. I've never seen my Geophagus go after my firemouth. I've actually only seen my firemouth go up and flare their gills at my Geophagus, and you know, they don't really care because they don't really take it as a challenge. So a good thing I could recommend is that if you get Geophagus, it's good to have you know, either two females and one male or three males together, because sometimes it might actually work with three males, because you know, this is important. You need to keep more Geophagus because it's not a schooling fish, but they do like to be multiple of their own species in one area. So it's very important to have multiple Geophagus, because a Geophagus that is alone won't really have the care requirements it needs. You can see right here how they're fighting. This is my smallest one, my smallest male, which my biggest male right here is fighting with. You can see what he tries to do is hide inside that Amazon sword jungle. That doesn't always work. Sometimes he leaves him alone, and other times he just swims into these rocks right here. And this guy apparently do not know of those rocks, but I think it's only a matter of time before he does that. So I'm actually soon getting another Geophagus Altifrons male, just because that will spread out the aggression a lot more, because right now it's just focused on the other cichlid, as you can see, but it has been like this for quite a while, and whenever there is food they don't really fight, and sometimes they fight, sometimes they don't. It's different. You can see some of my videos where they just swim together. It's kind of weird. But I gotta make sure to get another male because I don't want him to kill him. You know, they can be pretty harsh on each other. Cichlids, they can be pretty crazy. Anyway, they do like a planet aquarium. I would actually recommend a planet aquarium. They do not eat plants, but if you got stem plants, it's probably not a good idea to keep Geophagus because they will actually dig up the stem plants, just because the thing that Geophagus does to find food is sifting through the sand, and then they will find you know, worms, crustaceans, different things like that down in the substrate, and that's what they live off. Not in the aquarium though, they still do sift in the sand a lot, but they do not find any food down there, not as much as in nature. It would be really strange if you had, well, it could actually be beneficial to have worms in your substrate, but anyway, so, you know, what I would say is that if you want to feed your Geophagus, it's important to feed them meaty foods all the time. It doesn't work just to feed them flake food. I would actually recommend feeding them bloodworms, or even feed them mysis sometimes, brine shrimp. Krill also works pretty well. Table shrimp, I feed my Geophagus table shrimp multiple times a month. You know, I feed them a lot of different foods. They do prefer, you know, bigger sword plants where they can start. You can see right here he's sifting through the sand, where he takes it up in his mouth and he kind of filtrates it through his gills to find any, you know, food down the substrate. It's really unique behavior. You know, all cichlids do that pretty much. My fire moth doesn't do it a lot, he does it sometimes. But yeah, so in general, I would say that if you get Geophagus, it's best to get 3 or more, which is the mistake I made. I didn't get 3 or more, I got 2, which was quite a bad idea considering that it wasn't a female that I got last time, so it was not really that good of an idea. But I'll get another one, I'll promise. Whenever I get the money to do so, because this is another thing about Geophagus, they are really expensive. There are some Tapirus Geophagus that aren't that expensive, but here in Denmark, Altifrons is probably the most expensive one. One Geophagus Altifrons costs about, ooh, how much is that? That is probably $75, around $75 to $90 for one Geophagus Altifrons in this size. So it's pretty crazy, you know. It's quite a price for just you know, a fish, but that's okay. You know, they are definitely worth the price. They are one of the most interesting fish you're ever going to keep. They are very fun to have. They have a really nice personality. They really like to watch you through the glass. You can see here, he always, like, whenever I go to the other side of the aquarium, he always follows. The other one does too, but right now he's hiding because for some reason they just decided to fight right now. And you can see my Synodontis right there, one of my Synodontis. Where's the other Synodontis, by the way? We're just really going to see if you can find him. He's right there. Hello. Anyway, so you know, for Geophagus, I would also recommend a temperature of about 26 to 27 degrees Celsius. Not higher than that, just because, you know, don't do that. It's also a good idea not to keep any really aggressive fish together with Geophagus. Geophagus are still pretty calm fish. You know, they are, you can see they just stand still all the time. They don't really swim that much. So a lot of aggressive fish that moves around fast and does a lot of things will actually stress out the Geophagus a little bit. I've heard of that. I've not tried it myself. You know, the only aggressive fish I really have in here are the tiger barbs and the Geophagus itself. You know, because well, tiger barbs are not aggressive in these numbers right here. They just swim around minding their own business. You know, they have their own pecking order, not including any other fish. And you know, I got some angelfish. I got 4 angelfish, and angelfish are very calm fish. You know, they just swim around and do nothing pretty much. They are just, they're actually a pretty good tank made with Geophagus. I would actually consider getting angelfish with Geophagus. I don't really know about discus together with Geophagus. I don't think that would be a good idea, because when we look at angelfish, you know, angelfish are sort of semi-aggressive. Like, they can be aggressive, but they can also be very peaceful, whereas discus are still mildly aggressive. You know, they still have the cichlid behavior, but only with their own species. So, you know, angelfish can do it with pretty much any fish. They like to pick on everything. But I would say that angelfish is definitely a good tank mate. There are some Central American cichlids like firemouths that work great with them too. I guess there are some few South American cichlid that might work fine too. So yeah, but you can see here the coloration on these guys are just amazing. On the Altifrons right here, amazing colors. This is definitely the most beautiful Geophagus in my opinion. They're also the biggest, so. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about Geophagus. Really awesome fish. If you can afford it, definitely get a lot of them. They are very awesome, and you know, remember to have a big tank. 50 gallons and up is probably the best bet I could give you. Not smaller than that would not be quite that good for them, because all Geophagus stay pretty large. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can recommend for you guys. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys in another video.